How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading with the prices going up or down. Russia sanctioned Rosebank, eyes up crypto to move money overseas. One of Russia's biggest banks, Rosebank, will use cryptocurrency to make cross-border payments. The sanctioned bank has already piloted transactions with corporate and private clients, according to a Russian newspaper. The bank did not say which cryptocurrency they plan on using, but they did mention that they are going to be using fintech company B Crypto for the project. Last year, they did say that they were exploring stablecoins to make payments with friendly countries, so it'll likely be some sort of USDT, USDC, who knows, something like that. Death of anti-mining bill means Texas miners can keep raking in energy credits. So this is great for Texas miners because the House saw it was fit that SB 1751 did not go to the governor's desk and is effectively dead. So we will not have to worry about the mining credits being taken away, and we can continue to have our mining infrastructure in Texas and don't have to worry about it moving offshore. Kind of like some of the exchanges have. Breaking House Republicans' proposed bill to classify crypto as commodities. The proposal, released by the leaders of the House Financial Services Commission and Agriculture Committee, aims to establish a clearer framework and guidelines for the treatment of digital assets within the country. Under the discussion draft, regulated crypto firms that handle tokens or cryptocurrencies can argue that these assets are commodities. However, they are required to have about 20% of their assets that no single entity has control over, so that's going to be a problem for Ethereum, as it has like 70% of Ethereum is in one validator node, but that's a separate problem. The SEC would retain the authority to challenge this claim by conducting a thorough analysis to determine whether the asset is a security or not, even if this does go through. But this draft bill is going to address the main issue of there being no kind of set rules on what decentralization is. So this is aiming to give those rules, that way the CFTC can have their own control in it. It'll also reclassify some of the crypto exchanges as digital commodity exchanges, which will be oversight by the CFTC as well. So quick one here, The Witcher is tagging Cardano Gaming about The Witcher Season 3, so I think this could be indicative of maybe a Witcher game, as is Cardano Gaming, using possibly Witcher NFTs, so we'll have to kind of see. So over on our total, we are kind of flagging around in this area. You could bring this up if you want to include some of these wicks, depending on how you want to draw it. If you want to draw it to the bodies, we were pretty close to trying to break through. Like bodies and wicks combo, that's typically what I'll do. You get more of a medium there, but it's not always exact for kind of ranges like this. Our stochastic is falling, RSI is trying to point up, money flow is trying to go bullish, VWAP's trying to head up, and our momentum's trying to get a green dot to invalidate that red dot. So our altcoins are trying to signal that we could push forward. We'll have to kind of see. This is a decent rounding bottom. We did have a little bit of an up channel we tried to break away from, and we are trying to push back up, but overall we are pretty much ranging in this zone, so that may not be good because it could be a bear flag. Bitcoin dominance continues to suffer. We went down a little bit more today. We may get a little bit of a bounce as money flow is trying to curl, VWAP's trying to curl, momentum could try to curl. Our stochastic and RSI though are pretty beat down. Our RSI is trying to signal a green dot though, so our RSI wants to reverse. We'll have to see if that can happen or not. Over on our futures, we'll go to the hourly, because that's usually where we'll see our gaps. We did fill this gap, so we are coming back up to this kind of support resistance area. It would be at this point where if we get dumped on, then we could see lower zones, but if we break through and flip it to support again, we could see that higher gap fill. Our stochastic is running up, RSI is pointing down though, momentum's running up very well. Our VWAP is pointing down, money flow is pointing down, but we are in the bullish zone for everything, so we could continue moving up, but we also are kind of starting to round out, so just be wary. I know I probably sound like a broken record because I said that yesterday, but when we range like this, it's kind of a lot of indecision going on and the market's more turbulent than normal. Our stochastic's trying to fall, RSI's trying to head up, momentum's trying to curl, money flow is not really determining where it wants to go. It's green, but not quite up there in the bullish zone, so we're kind of just riding the neutral. Our VWAP is trying to curl up, but it's kind of flat, so we're pretty indecisive here at best on the 1 hour. We kind of have a flag here on Bitcoin. You could just consider these kind of outliers where we broke away and had little retests, and then this could be our actual zone, and we could fall from this actual zone. You'll see that a little better like on the 2 hour, I believe. But on the 4 hour, stochastic's kind of starting to round, RSI is going up, our VWAP's trying to head up, our money flow isn't really quite going anywhere. It's got this little bit of a jump up here, but it's already starting to round off, so that's not too strong looking to me. Our momentum also looks like we could start to round out. We are kind of rounding right here behind that VWAP, if you can see, so that's also not the strongest for us. Over here on the 2 hour, you can see we have quite a bit of candles in this range, so that's why it's a solid way to make an area for a range. You don't just have a couple of candles, which is why I said you can consider these outliers of this pattern. So our stochastic is pretty overbought and running up, so that is good for our RSI, but our RSI is pretty flat. Momentum's kind of wanting to curl here. We are running up pretty strongly, but that secondary, that lighter color wave is kind of starting to get that rolling. Our VWAP's starting to roll over, money flow's starting to come out, so this is going to be real pivotal for us, because if the money flow starts to flash red here on the 2 hour, it could lead to the medium to daily, so our medium and higher time frame. The 1 hour money flow is trying to ramp up very strongly, but our RSI is kind of starting to curl. Stochastic's trying to run up, so even though our RSI has a lot of strength, it's showing signs it wants to give some of that up. Our momentum looks like it could start to curl out here as well, and our VWAP did head down, but now it's kind of just riding above that neutral zone, so it doesn't really know where it wants to be. Technically it's bullish, but it could break one way or the other very quickly. So over on graph, we'll go to the daily here. We are kind of trying to pump away from this inverted hammer candle that we had yesterday. Our stochastic is starting to fall. Our RSI is trying to head up, but not looking too strong. Momentum could start to round out. VWAP's testing neutral. Money flow doesn't really know if it wants to break through or not. It's kind of just riding under the neutral zone, so I'd use a little bit of caution. We may consolidate here, which we do. We create a small bull flag, but I won't get too excited. Our stochastic's starting to make a bearish cross. RSI is trying to fall over here on the 4 hour. Our momentum's getting a red dot. Our VWAP's coming out, and our money flow overall is rounding, so we're not looking the strongest in my opinion right now. Over on the 2 hour, you can see we kind of just keep bouncing up, and we can't really break and hold above this 13.3 area right now. Stochastic's starting to slide, RSI is starting to slide, money flow is getting close to testing bearish. Momentum's testing bearish with a red dot, and our VWAP's breaking bearish. So the 2 hours not looking too strong here for us. The 1 hour, our money flow rejected several times to cross, so that's not good. Our stochastic's falling, RSI is falling, momentum's falling, and our VWAP looks like it could start to reject away here. So overall, the 1 hour starting to leach away. 2 hours not the strongest, so that's likely about to start to flash some red signs. Over on Anchor for the daily, we are getting a decent bounce off our value area low, so we would want to look for a confirmation of an uptrend from here with another bullish candle. But if we start to pull away with a red candle tomorrow, then that could show us that we could see some more downside. Stochastic's trying to curl to the upside, RSI is trying to point the upside, money flow is coming up, but it keeps having issues getting above this 7.6 area. so just exercise some caution. VWAP is trying to head up, but our momentum is coming out, so even though we're trying to get this push up, our momentum isn't really strong right now. Could try to curl, but we'll have to see how the lower time frames look. On the 4 hour, we're kind of getting a rounding bottom, so maybe we could make a cup and a handle here that could push us forward. We'll have to see if that happens or not. Our stochastic looks like it wants to round here and make a bearish cross. RSI looks like it wants to round. Our money flow is kind of pointing down. VWAP's starting to curl away here. We are in a pretty high spot compared to where we usually range and reject from. Our momentum is coming up, but it's not looking too strong. If it starts to round out behind this VWAP, then we could start to see some more downside. Over on the 2 hour, you have a little bit stronger of a bottom for a possible cup and handle, but we're going to really need some momentum to come in to kind of finish off that top part of the cup. Our stochastic wants to make a bearish cross. RSI is kind of flat. Momentum's wanting to ramp up real strong, but it looks like it wants to curl away here, so that's not good if we're going to get that ramp up. Our money flow is in the bullish territory, did test bearish twice. It kind of peaked into once and pulled back out, so we'll have to see if it can maintain this bullish momentum or if it just starts to round over and gives the strength back to the bears. Our VWAP is starting to head back down, so not too good for us there either. Over on the 1 hour, we have a double red dot on our momentum, so that's not too strong for us. Our stochastic is trying to get a bullish cross, but we're overall making lower highs, even though price is making higher highs, so we have a slight bearish divergence here. Our money flow is running into the bullish territory, but our VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory, so if our VWAP falls under that neutral zone, we could see some further downside, and we could see the money flow start to come out. So we'll have to kind of watch the next couple candles. Like I said, if we're gonna get an actual cup and handle where this would be the top of the cup, we would want to see more of a push up. Otherwise, we could get like a little mini one if we take a dip down here and then push up. But then you're not gonna get quite that rise. You could come back to this area and then reject away. So over on XRP, on the daily, we are kind of still within. Can't remember if I made this flag yesterday or not, but we have a possible bull flag on the lower time frames. We'll get into that. We are pushing against it pretty strong right now. I did say if we bounce off the 50 area, we would hit this 52 and meet resistance, and that's kind of what's happening right now. Stochastic's falling. RSI is trying to push up. Momentum's starting to curl with a red dot. Our money flow is breaking into the bullish territory, and our VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory. So our momentum looks like it could give up some strength. Our RSI may start to curl over, and our money flows in the bullish territory, but we're kind of at a resistance area for the money flow, so we could see it pull away too. Over on the 4 hour, we are getting a bit of a red candle here. Stochastic's starting to curl. We're getting lower highs on our stochastic, even though price is making the same highs, so we have a bearish divergence there. Our momentum was trying to ramp up, but overall looks like it's kind of rounding. Our money flow is starting to fall, VWAP's starting to fall, so I'd exercise some caution if the lower time frames look more bearish. Over on the 2 hour, our money flow overall is starting to round out and come down. Our momentum's kind of starting to round out here as well. RSI is starting to kind of flatten out. Stochastic has a bearish cross and is coming down, and our VWAP is testing that neutral zone. So overall, I'd say if we don't get some green candles here, we're probably going to start to fall back toward that 50 zone. If we don't hold that, we could see this flag play out. Over on the 1 hour, our stochastic is falling with a bearish cross. Momentum has a red dot that's starting to make us fall. RSI is falling with a red dot. Our money flow is getting close to that neutral zone, so pay attention to the next few candles. And our VWAP is in the bearish zone, so our medium trend technically is bearish. So just watch out for that money flow to dip in the bearish zone, because if that happens, then we have multiple lanes pointing bearish, and we won't be too strong, and we could fall through that 50 area. Over on Algo, we are getting a pretty decent push here, trying to make a decent rounding bottom. We'll have to see if that can actually get some weight. RSI is trying to run up, Stochastic's trying to run up, VWAP's breaking into the bullish territory. Money flow is heading up, momentum's heading up with a double green dot, so we do have some decent signals here on the daily. Hopefully those are persisting on our lower time frames. Here on the 4 hour, you can see we're kind of rounding up. We could take a little bit of dip, make a little bit of a mini cup and handle here. Stochastic is starting to get a bearish cross, RSI is pointing down, momentum's kind of rounding out, VWAP's heading down, money flow's starting to reject away from neutral. But like I said, if we make a cup and handle, it could overall be bullish for us. Over on the 2 hours, Stochastic's getting a bearish divergence, momentum's getting bearish divergence with a red dot, RSI is falling down, our money flow is barely holding on to the bullish zone, so I'm a little more worried about the 2 hour, how it's looking right now, and our VWAP is barely holding bullish, so overall we're looking a little more bearish leaning, and like we could start to fall. Over on the 1 hour, you can kind of see we did kind of make a cup, drop down for a handle, tried to make a breakout and got rejected. So it is possible we could fall away from here as well. Our Stochastic has bearish divergences, RSI has bearish, momentum has bearish divergences and is falling with a red dot. RSI is curling under. Our money flow is in the bullish territory very strongly though. We are kind of at a resistance area, so we may see it kind of dip off, but hopefully it can maintain this area and we can keep pushing forward. Our VWAP is trying to break bullish, so we'll want that to flip bullish, and then maybe our momentum starts to come back up as well. We'll have to kind of keep an eye on these indicators. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.